Welcome to our channel. Today's story is about a man whose name is synonymous with musical genius. A man who composed some of the most beautiful symphonies ever written, even as he slowly lost the ability to hear them. This is the story of Ludwig van Beethoven, a journey of triumph over silence. Beethoven was born in December 1770 in Bonn, a small city in the electorate of Cologne. His exact birth date is unknown, but he was baptized on December 17th. He was the second of 7 children, but only 3 survived infancy. His father, Johann van Beethoven, was a singer in the court chapel and recognized Ludwig's early musical talents. Unfortunately, Johann was also abusive and alcoholic. He tried to mold Ludwig into a child prodigy like Mozart, often forcing him to practice late into the night. By the time Beethoven was 7, he was already performing publicly. His earliest compositions came before he turned 12. In 1787, at just 16 years old, Beethoven traveled to Vienna, the musical capital of Europe. That it is believed he met Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart. Though little is recorded, legend says that after hearing Beethoven improvise, Mozart exclaimed, "Watch out for that boy. He will make a noise in the world someday." However, Beethoven's stay in Vienna was short. News arrived that his mother was seriously ill. He returned to Bonn, only to witness her death from tuberculosis. The loss devastated him, but he stayed strong for his younger siblings, whom he began to support. In 1792, Beethoven returned to Vienna for good. He studied under Joseph Haydn, the father of the symphony, and other respected composers. Though their relationship was rocky, Beethoven absorbed knowledge quickly. His fiery personality made him a difficult student, but it also made him unique. Unlike Mozart, who composed quickly and effortlessly, Beethoven agonized over every note. He revised his scores obsessively, hearing entire symphonies in his mind before writing them down. With support from noble patrons like Prince Lichnowsky, Beethoven began to rise in Viennese musical society. Beethoven's first major public success came in 1889 with the premiere of his symphony No. 1. It was bold, energetic, and full of unexpected turns, just like him. Soon followed a stream of legendary works: the Moonlight Sonata, the Eroica Symphony, and numerous piano concertos. But beneath the applause, a quiet fear haunted him. He was going deaf. But as early as 1798, Beethoven noticed a ringing in his ear. It worsened year by year. By 1802, at just 32 years old, he could barely hear conversations. That year, in a small village called Heiligenstadt, Beethoven wrote a heartbreaking letter to his brothers. It's now called the Heiligenstadt Testament. In it, he confessed his despair over his deafness and even mentioned thoughts of ending his life. "But art held me back," he wrote. "It seemed to me impossible to leave the world until I had brought forth all that I felt was within me." From that pain emerged a new Beethoven, a bolder, more daring composer. He entered what scholars call his heroic period. During this time, he composed works that shook the foundations of classical music. His Symphony No. 3, the Eroica, was originally dedicated to Napoleon Bonaparte, symbol of revolution. But when Napoleon declared himself emperor, Beethoven angrily scratched out the dedication. Yet the music remained a revolutionary work of emotion and power. By 1814, Beethoven was completely deaf. He could no longer perform or conduct, and his social life crumbled. He communicated through notebooks, relying on lip reading and gestures. But silence did not stop the music. In fact, it seemed to free him. In the last decade of his life, Beethoven composed his most profound and complex pieces like the Hammer Clavier, the Missa Solemnis, and the Immortal Symphony No. 9. In 1824, Beethoven completed his most celebrated work, Symphony No. 9, featuring the choral finale Ode to Joy. It was the first major symphony to include voices praising brotherhood and peace. At the premiere, Beethoven stood on stage but could not hear the thunderous applause behind him. A soprano gently turned him toward the audience so he could see the ovation. It was one of the most emotional moments in music history. Beethoven spent his final years in Vienna in poor health and battling legal disputes over the custody of his nephew. Despite his struggles, he continued to compose. His late string quartets remain among the most abstract, spiritual music ever written. Beethoven died on March 26, 1827, during a thunderstorm. As lightning cracked the sky, it was said that Beethoven raised his fist defiantly one last time before falling still forever. Over 20,000 people attended his funeral. Beethoven's legacy transcends time, culture, and even sound itself. He changed what music could be, not just entertainment, but a window into the soul. He proved that true genius isn't about perfection, it's about persistence, courage, and expressing the inexpressible. He is remembered not just as a deaf composer, but as a universal voice that continues to speak through silence. Thank you for watching this tribute to Ludwig van Beethoven. If you found inspiration in his story, please like, share, and subscribe. Let the music live on, and let us never forget the man who composed through silence.